Today, I want to change some things up here on the channel and just provide you kind of an old school style of content that I used to do a ton that I absolutely love doing, and I kind of want to get back to it. So, what it is we're going to be talking today about a mini scheme. We're just going to kind of pick a formation and test some things out, try some things, and then we'll kind of see how that goes, see how long it is. I might add a gameplay of the scheme as well. Let me know if you guys want to see that. I'm kind of wrestling with, should I put gameplay on the end just to kind of show the scheme in game? Should gameplay be its own separate video? Like, I'm just kind of wrestling with that right now myself. So, anyways, what I want to do is I'm in the Kansas City Chiefs playbook today, and I want to kind of show you why I think this could be a pretty good little scheme here. I'm going to start in double mug actually, and then I will work through some other things. So what most people do in their double mug is they're going to put their shell on cover two, and then we're going to just put some safeties in these spots right here. And let's see, we'll put some linebackers out here like this. And I'm just doing this in regs. I know a lot of guys, play regs, play CFM. Honestly, like mud is definitely different, but in this year's game, I will say more than ever, it's definitely not as different. Like most of the stuff just kind of cross applies both directions for the most part, with the exception of maybe like QB playmaker or things like that. So, and then we'll put close and pinch there. That's pretty standard. Okay, so first things first, anytime you're running an offense, I think one of the most important things, especially to mention in this year's game, is to put your auto pass protection on base. That's pretty standard. You only want to use empty if you're playing somebody that's running, stunts. The problem is if you don't put this on, if you don't turn on auto pass protection, it depending on what play you call, it'll just change your pass protection. So one of the dumbest things that I've ever seen them add to a game. And so we're going to put this on base here. And then as we look at the Chiefs playbook, I have a lot of stuff on this. I'm actually dropping, I have the write ups all done, but I'm dropping a full ebook on this in our school community this week. So you guys can check that out if you want to. Over there, it has everything. What's really nice about this playbook is it has a really good bunch X nasty. It's probably the second best bunch X nasty to Banker Dimes, which how could you get any better than Banker Dimes because it has all the bunch X nasty plays. But effectively, it has really good plays. It has spacing switch, X cross, drive under, like just really, really good plays. But it also has this bunch spread nasty, bunch strong nasty, two really good formations. But the formation that I wanted to mess around with today is this bunch Y flex. Okay. So the reason I wanted to mess around with this bunch Y flex is because this RPO. So I'll show you what I'm kind of talking about. This RPO alert. So the cool part about this RPO is you can hot route it, which I think is really, really, really cool. So also real quick, kind of a little tip within a tip here. If you guys didn't know, you get a better throwing animation if the running back is on the side of the quarterback's throwing hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to flip this so that I can get a better throwing animation. And like I said, we're going to use this RPO. We're start with this. So the cool part about this RPO is I can hot route this guy to anything. So like I can put him on, as you see here, I could also hot route the tight end to whatever I want him to run. So this is one of those cool RPOs. So if you think about the way most people would want to defend this, they would probably put this guy on a flat, stand right here, and try to jet out there. But what's nice about this RPO is, as you see, he engages, and then that's why we like that, because that RPO is really good against man coverage. It's going to be really good against man. It's also just going to be really good against, different types of the meta, right? Double mug, 6-1, 3-4 odd. Any compressed defense is going to struggle with this. So now what I'm going to try to do, and it's going to be hard to show, but what I'm basically going to try to do is I'm going to try to like switch stick this RPO. It's going to be super hard to show this, but I just want to kind of see if I can get control over this guy. So as you see, he kind of blitzes in. So I don't know for sure, but what I would assume is the case is that defensive end's part of the run fit, and so when he reads the run, then he just shoots in. So super cool. RPO, pretty darn good. Yeah, I mean that's really good. And what got me thinking about this was trips tight end flex. That specific RPO, you can hot route it. I wonder if I can actually hot route the Trey Y flex one now that I think about this, because this formation or this playbook has a really good or a trio Y flex. So I bet you I can't hot route this bubble one, but I might be able to hot route a Trey Y flex one. And of course, they don't have it. I know I can hot route this RPO alert Omaha, but it's not like you don't get any good blocking out of it, in my opinion. So anyway, so I don't think I can do that out of that formation because that bubble screen's definitely not going to be hot routable. Okay. So now I want to look for other plays that I think could be like really interesting around this RPO. So one of the other, really big aspects of this in double mug is, can you find a run that they can't shoot? So if you didn't know, like if you're playing double mug, the easy way to shoot runs is to use this linebacker that is opposite of the running back. And this guy basically will blitz in every single time. So we're just going to go to this power run here. And as you see, he still does. The best type of runs typically for this is outside zones, which I will just show you. Believe it's this bunch. Spread Nasty has an outside zone. Unfortunately, it's it's not a very clean audible there, but you'll see here that by having this outside zone, you see what it does is it blocks this guy. So then now, you're able to just kind of break outside, and you see, I mean, this can be a pretty good run against any kind of double mug or anything like that. So that's kind of cool. So we have that, and then the other piece of this is dollars. So the only thing with this is that this run doesn't really do much for. The other thing is this guy backed up, so it's kind of an obvious thing. But what I also wanted to try is the flat. So what you could do is you could flat, locking up here for some reason, the adjustments. But we could flat this guy like this, and then we could do something like this would be a pretty, like a lot of people would run a defense like this, right? So what I want to look for here is, does this flat, hard flat guard this? Now, what I normally like to do is just test it one time without doing any adjustments, and then I'll actually show you something that you can kind of do to change the blocking mechanics. But effectively, we're just going to throw this out here blindly, and you see he blocks him. That's exactly what we wanted to have happen. Have a little sip of coffee here. So the series that I used to do when I first started YouTube, I called it Coffee with Cody. And I was like probably 14. I don't even think I was actually drinking coffee, but I thought it was such a catchy title. Anywho, so a little bit of nostalgia for me. Been doing this a long time. But anyways, so still love my coffee though. And now I am actually drinking coffee. I've got one little man and I got another little man on the way. So yeah, we drink coffee in this house for sure. Okay. So anyway, this RPO pretty cool. And the other thing I was going to say, I just like that you can hot route it. I don't know if I'm trying to think how exactly I would use this. The other thing that's really cool is in double mug. Let me actually go through and take off the cover 2 shell because that's kind of interesting. So in double mug, sometimes if they just are running a basic double mug, then what'll happen is they'll line up over the top. As you see right there, they line up. So I could press this. What I like about this flat is this flat traditionally does really good against man ups. So if I untarget this safety here, you see that I can throw this at that man coverage, which is really, really cool in my opinion, because now another defense that is very popular, anytime you're building an offense, you want to have something, right, that counters the meta defenses that you're going to play. I feel like in general in Madden, defense is often way more limited than offense is. And so, because you realistically, there's only so many formations, and a lot of defensive formations are, very similar, like dime 3-2, dollar, or dollar 2-3, 6 Sam, and then 1-4-6. They're all basically the same defense. They're just dollar. Right. So anyway, the reason I wanted to do that is because now I want to show you what I could do against dollars. So my theory here is that this RPO, this flat will beat this mana. So we'll just try to throw this out here. And you see against cover 2 man, you don't get quite the same interaction. I think that's because of the shading down of the man coverage. Because if you guys didn't know, cover 2 man is actually shaded down naturally. So I don't think this will work as good. I'm going to try to ID this guy. It'd be great if we could just block this guy. That'd be awesome, but we can't. Yep. So basically, as you can see, that's a little bit problematic. It's not very good against cover 2 man, but it's still good. And then the other thing I was going to show you here is let's see if we can mess around with the tight end a little bit. So what you could do, because you can hot route the tight end, is we could put him on like a quick slant. We read, oh, it's man coverage, but the problem is, as you see, I mean, the cover two man is good, and the reason, this is why cover two man I think is hard to beat is because you're able to play this shaded down type of man coverage that kind of limits what routes I can't run anything super quick. Like this speed out is going to get pressed into the dirt. The best thing I could do is run a drag, but if you think about it, that's where their user is going to be. So it's not necessarily ideal. Like that's kind of not very good. The only other thing I could think of is to put this tight end on a streak and see if he gets like a crazy inside release. That'd be kind of cool. So he does, and you see there. Okay. So that could be something we could do if we ever faced any kind of cover two man. So you see this RPO though, it's pretty cool. It is pretty good. The other thing I was going to say about the RPO is you can audible into it from your bunch. So let me just show you how that would work. Because if you're putting together like an actual scheme, you want to be able to kind of audible around a little bit. So I'm just going to come out and cover two man again. Another sip of coffee for my brothers. And we're going to make sure we have this in our audibles. Then we're going to come out in our bunch. And we'll come out in probably the best play is spacing switch. So my theory is I can audible right into this. You'll see, boom. I don't like how long that guy takes to go. That's not cool. But I can put this guy on the flat. You see cover two man is going to do pretty good. But anything that's not cover two man, like you're going to have an advantage. Let's go over like cover through cloud. I haven't talked about that. So let's talk about like dollar zone. So in dollar, when they run zone, I'll just start with this curl flat. I don't think that'll be a problem, but basically what you want to do is you want to untarget the safety. That's going to give you a lot better blocking when they start zoning people out. And that man coverage is never going to play him. So you see there, we're still really good. Still really good against any kind of cover three cloud. The only thing I wanted to show real quick is a hard flat from the slot corner side. So we'll go bunch. I'm going to have to get used to this audible, though, because it is a little bit of a thing to find it. But this RPO, I'm going to untarget the safety. And you see, hard flat. He kind of guarded him, but honestly, I'm not necessarily that mad at that result. Because you have to also think about this when you're putting this together. Against any kind of compressed set, they're going to struggle to get out there because they don't have the numbers. But with dollar, what you're able to do is you're able to get these slot corners super wide. The thing about that, though, is to shoot the run, they have to take this guy and they have to stand kind of right in here to shoot the run. So he would be out of the way, as you can see right here. Now we have a significant numbers advantage, and we're able to kind of like take advantage of that. So it's still pretty good. You could also, if like this is a really, I think, important little tip here. If you know that they are running, like a zone, one of the easiest things you can do to attack zone in this game with RPOs is actually just leave the bubble screen. So by just leaving this bubble screen here, you see they now block him, and now this is good to go. Okay? 15 minutes on a bubble screen. Didn't expect to spend that much time on it, but what I wanted to do with this series, what I want to do with this video is kind of get back to my roots and kind of get back to my passion for Madden, which is, I honestly, what's weird about me is I don't even necessarily like playing the game. I like playing the game, but I don't like playing the game in the sense of, I want to play like as many games as possible and get the highest ranking. But I think what I really enjoy about Madden is the learning process. I like to learn, new things. I'm like an information junkie. Like anyone that shares any insight about Madden, I love to listen and learn. And so, this is kind of, my passion for the game. Like I said, let me know if you want me to add gameplay to this. I could totally do that. What I might do is I might actually just add a gameplay on the back end of this that kind of shows it. And I'll walk through that. And then if you guys don't like it, you can just click off the video, right? If you don't like the gameplay, you can just click off, go watch something else. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to show you about this formation is passing. So obviously the RPO is pretty cool. Like it's pretty good, but you have to have, some ability to pass the ball out of this to make it an actual threat. Otherwise they're just going to like sell it for the RPO. And if you think about it, what we're basically leading them to do is we're kind of forcing them into a hard flat or a switch stick or something on that side. So now what I want to do is go out and go look at the actual plays in the formation to see if there's any good routes. So now what I want to do with dollar is I do want to actually come out in the SS zone. I'll show you some cool stuff about this. And I have full ebooks on dollar and double mug as well. The Jaguars defense, I just don't think it's even close. I think it's just the best defense. Vikings defense is cool if you want to run Cub or you want to run 3-3 odd or 3-4 odd, but I don't think any of those defenses are better than dollar or double mug, at least right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to bunch by flex. And for practice mode purposes, I'm just gonna flip it and come out in the plays. But I wanted to try a couple things here. So the dig return play is kind of cool. Spacing's kind of mid. That's the problem with this formation is there's just not a lot of. You need to be able to pass some out of this. This doesn't need to be your main passing formation, but you kind of need to have a couple plays that are quasi relevant. Speed dig out. It's like some of these plays are just bleh. So one thing I don't like about this. I'm gonna try this curls swirl play just to see if this running back route's anything. That's what I'll do. Just see. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll just put like a cloud. Just run like a streak. I'm looking for this running back route. See if it's kind of like it's not. It doesn't get that same. Doesn't get that same juice that the spacing switch table gets. Unfortunately, if you could get a spacing switch table with this formation would be really cool. But as you see, man coverage just kind of breaks it. So okay, so that's not going to work. The one thing about this formation though is you have a lot of really good. What I think makes this better than like a trips tight end or bunch tight end is this guy right here is a wide receiver, so he could go on a slot fade. The reason that that's valuable is because if I want to run, something like this, let me put this guy on a drag. Sorry, my buttons are. The other thing about this, real quick tip, notice my buttons. Do my buttons change? They don't here. Let's see if, let me see this real quick. So that was what I was going to show you. So in this formation, if you're running an RPO, this linebacker will blitz to the other side. So when I audible to the RPO, let's just see. Yep. So as you see, they will know that I'm running this, which is meh, but it's okay. The only thing I was going to say here is do the icons change when I audible? Yeah, so as you see, they don't. That's actually a big advantage. That's actually a huge advantage because in some formations, what happens is your icons change when you run an RPO, but not for this one. Sweet. Okay, so most people are going to hard flat in general when playing this. Probably going to hook curl like this, and so you want to have plays that are going to be good for countering that. The only unfortunate thing, too, is this verticals play is really good, but the RPO guy is the guy on the wheel. The only reason that matters is just unfortunate because it'd be great to throw this wheel if they're trying to man you up, which, again, we showed you that man up's not going to be that good. So what you can do with verticals is you can throw this. Wow, that was a crazy inaccurate. You can throw that in the window right there. So even if I hook curl here, this is a pretty common adjustment. And most of the time you have to remember they're going to user this guy. Most people will user this guy. So this formation just causes some trouble, in my opinion, because it's hard. It's a hard user. There's just some things about it that are difficult. But the other thing about it is this verticals play is really, there's probably a lot of things we could do with this play to make it really, really good. One of the easy things you could do is create a 5 wide look. I really like this right here. I think this is pretty cool. He's going to get this running back right on the numbers, so he's going to clear out all the zones. And then you can throw this crosser in kind of a unique window. If you think about how most people are going to play coverage, what a lot of people want to do is they want to play some form of cover 3. This guy could be on a deep half, and they play cover 2 like this, or they play cover 3 like this. These are kind of the two main coverages. that you'll see. And I'll talk about some of the other things they could do, but they're gonna really hurt the it's gonna really hurt the defense. So I really like the verticals play. I think the verticals play is kind of it's a really, really good play. You could even do something like this, but I really like this right here. I really like this setup. And the reason being is because this crosser, watch, this crosser is a little unique. It's a little bit, I don't know for sure if it's actually a different crosser than what you see in bunch offset or something, but it runs really, I don't know if it's like the spacing of where that crosser's out on the field, but this crosser is actually really, really good. This crosser, I want to say, was a crosser that you saw Astro use back in Madden 22 when he really first jumped on the scene. He made Madden Bowl in kind of a weird way, I remember, and he showed up to Madden Bowl and nobody could stop this guy. And this was one of the routes that you saw him use. So anyway, obviously we have this running or this seam wheel that's really good. And then we have this crosser. So I want to show you the crosser. So what you're going to see here is the crosser. See how he kind of runs like super sharp, and he gets into a really, really nice area of the field. The other thing about this is, if we're talking about man coverage, and you don't have to put the running back in motion either. I just like what he's able to do. What you can do with this play really easily is I could just streak this tight end, or I could even slot fade him. I like to streak him. I will say the main reason is because of where he's at on the field. If he was a little more inside, then I probably wouldn't streak him. But I'm thinking more so for like a cover 4 situation. It makes a lot of sense to streak him. But you could also slot fade him as well to get a little bit better clear out. You could do things like put the running back on a Texas underneath. That's going to be really good against man coverage. You could do something like this even if you wanted to. But I really like this combo right here. I think this combo is pretty good. Could also put the running back on an in route. And the running back going across formation is just really, really good no matter what you put him on. So anyway, I want to show you the crosser. See if this beats man. I know that crosser will beat man, but right there it did not beat man. So you have to also remember that cover 2 man is shaded inside and underneath. Like that's how the shading works in this game. So that's an advantage for maybe this guy on the crosser. You know, so that's what's cool about this play is we could do something like this. You know, and now we're able to run the same basic idea, but you see, look at that crosser because he can't get pressed. So anyway. Another thing that's really good against any kind of match that I think is pretty cool is if I go to verticals, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this slot receiver and I'm going to put him on a streak, and then I'm going to put this outside guy on a corner. Ooh, I don't like that. Okay, I forgot about that. So this outside receiver gets outside receiver hot routes, which is not ideal. So that's unfortunate. What could I do? What could I do? What could I do? What am I going to do? Could I do this? Let's see if this still beats it. So, oh, okay, so I would have to curl him and stem him all the way up, which takes forever. But, you know, you got to do certain things. So my theory here is that this streak will be a one-play touchdown because of this tight end drag. We'll see if I'm right. I'll put the running back on a post. Running back post route, massively underrated route. So I'm in match coverage here, cover 4 quarters. What we should see is this circle should be a touchdown, and he is a touchdown. Okay, that's cool. So I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So with match coverage, what it's going to do is because, and I'm going to have to spy everybody just to kind of highlight this, because of this wheel right here, this guy on the wheel, whoever goes on the streak is going to be a touchdown. I guess it still makes more sense to put this guy on it because of the wheel and the drag. So the drag is going to kind of mess with the matching principles. And then this should be a touchdown. Let's just see. Yep. So as you see, the quarter kind of falls off late, and then this guy is wide open. Now, another really good setup or another good really use for verticals is any kind of cover 2. And what's nice about this specific bunch formation is this is one of the advantages of the fact of this alignment here. So because this wheel route is a little bit more outside, that means that the streak is going to be able to clear out a little bit more. So we could run a combination like this, for example. And what you should see is this streak pull the deep half, and this wheel should be throwable over the top. So as you see, that's able to beat cover two in kind of a really good way. So is there a couple of other little things you could do to play verticals? Honestly, the rest of the play is nothing really crazy. This crosser to Shakir, though, if you look at his crosser, it's a little bit better than the hot routed crosser. So what you could do with this is you could do a drag, you could do a stemmed up post, and then you could have a slot fade, kind of more of a bunch tight end type of deal. But what this is really good for is when when you start to notice that they want to do stuff like this right here, where they take this guy, put him on a half, put this guy on a cloud, and put this guy on a vert hook. This would be a really, really good play for that. Now, just for sake of illustration of the combo, I'm not going to blitz here, but you would have essentially just a high low to the right side. Watch his slot fade clears out really, really well. And look at where we can throw that crosser kind of in that nice little seam. And it's a nice crosser. It's kind of got that speed crosser aspect of it that is really good. And then if they run like a cover two man where they actually get a man line, this could be pretty good. So let's just see if this is able to beat it. The drag should get really good separation, and then this crosser kind of runs. Yeah, you see how that crosser gets really nice separation? That is pretty common from crossers, right? Like that. So, we're able to have a really nice crosser. And then, of course, what's nice about this game is you're able to hot route. You're able to have a lot of really good hot routes. So the fact that what a lot of people are going to do is they're going to run the cover three to the left, almost guarantee you that you're going to get a lot of cover three because of the bubble screen. Now we just need to put plays around that. So I think the easiest one let me take a look at smash return here. So what's cool is smash return has this kind of unique corner route. It also has that return route that's really cool. But what I would probably do still is I would still just go with the basic. The only problem is you can't slot fade this guy. That is kind of unfortunate. What I would probably still do. Let me see if I have a corner route. That means we need to look for a corner route play now that I think of it. There's some other really cool. There's a lot of really good crossers out of this though. Like 83 HB choice. We should take a look at that play. I'm just gonna put in the audibles and we'll just take a look at it. Dig return. I do think that's a good play. Dagger has that really good crosser from the slot. But yeah, I didn't think that I saw a good corner route, unfortunately. So we do have spacing switch though, and this speed out could be kind of useful now that I think of it. So I'm gonna come out on that. So what's nice about the speed out is it's gonna run pretty quickly. And so essentially, like if they purple this guy, this speed out is pretty good. And then what you should be able to do on top of this is you should be able to do something like this basically. And then on the back end, you can do really whatever you want. Normally it'd be something like that. But what I'm going to do is see if I can throw this out route against different things. So you see there, that was a curl flat. I'm able to throw that out route pretty easily to be able to attack that. The real question is, can I throw it at a hard flat, which I would bet is probably not going to happen. But because I run the play, I mean, even running it like this makes a little more sense to me. Let's see if I can throw this. You still can kind of throw it. That's awesome. Okay, so, and then the other thing is, what I can also do with this now that we run the play like this is we get this speed out. We get this like a slot fade or a streak, either one, okay? But what's nice is because of the spacing of the formation, this corner route will get more open. So you'll see here, this corner route should get really open. Very nice and a nice window. That's a really nice window to be able to hit. So that's kind of our main method. It's going to have to be our main method for attacking the sideline is really this inside bunch receiver being the corner route. You could do something like this right here. Nothing wrong with this either. And then what I would probably do is even like stemming this guy up like that. What this will do a really good job of is when you use a slot fade as opposed to using a streak, you're going to get a really clean clear out. So watch this outside third. It gets pulled really far, and then now this is wide open to the sideline. So that's another, simple method to flood the left side of the field, which I do think is helpful within this offense. You can't. It sucks to me. This receiver being in this position is kind of bleh. The one thing I wanted to check on here, I don't think we can, because when you run bunch strong nasty, when you audible to motion corn dog, you can put the guy on a corner route instantly and it will stay. But I don't think that's going to be the case here. Yeah, it's not. I mean, the C route could be useful though. Like if I did something like this. Yeah, I mean the C route is still good, but it's not exactly what I would want to do. Just based on everything else. That's okay. So we have this really nice flat. We have this corner, and we could do something like this. Like this is a pretty cool play, and this will do a really good job of being able to beat any kind of cover 3, cover 4 to that side. You're just going to have this really nice corner route, right? Very easily. And then you also have the rest of the play. So I do like this out route. I don't think you necessarily need it either, though. Like if you wanted to, but the problem with this formation, like I said, is this guy doesn't get good hot routes. Like none of these hot routes are really that good. You could do a smoke screen. Let's see what that does to like a flat. So if they have a flat over there, yeah, smoke screen kind of bleh, nothing really crazy there. The other thing that you could do is kind of like a smash return. And if you guys didn't know, what you can use these smash return routes for is they will pull hard flats. So I'm gonna put this return route here, put this streak here, put a little corner, stem down like so. And then we can do really whatever on the back end of this, which would normally be something like this. So what you'll see is that hard flat really sucks down, gives me a nice window to be able to throw my corner route. So those are kind of some of the main passing plays. So if we just recap this for a second here, obviously we have, I forgot to talk about 83 HB choice. So this gives you a really good speed out on this guy that we should test this. So let's see if the speed out beats a hard flat. No, it does not. Okay, spacing switch is going to be better because it's a sharper cut then. Okay. So that's pretty much it. I mean, the other thing I was going to say about 83 HB choice is this crosser is going to be really good for cover 3. So what you could do is you put the outside receiver on a curl, stem him all the way up, and then you can do something like this. And now you've got probably a pretty good way to attack any kind of cover 3 to the ISO side, because this crosser is going to run kind of like almost like a post. You could stem this crosser, I believe, stem it up 1 or something, and you just kind of see like it gets in this void against cover 3. So that's a cool play. Nothing too crazy there, but that's kind of cool. Dig return. What's nice about this play, and this is why I would actually use this, is because when they hard flat this guy a lot, let's say they're usering here, they're going to really struggle to stop the return route or the zig. So what I would do is kind of get to it a couple different ways. But what I think makes the most amount of sense here is to run a bench pivot setup out of this. So we'll swing the back, put the tight end on a deep end, and then basically just drag either one of these guys. Honestly, you could do it like either way. But something like this, but watch this return route. So you see, he's just going to get in a really nice spot. So I feel like that's a need to have play because you're going to be able to attack the hooks really, really well. And then we have verticals. So mainly, if we look back, I think the main plays, ironically, that I would want to have is I would want to have spacing switch or spacing. I would want to have verticals, and I would want to have dig return. This curls wide swirl play is kind of cool too. So if you didn't care to have the spacing play, but I like the spacing play because of what it's going to do for, spacing. Ooh, good thing we checked that. We want spacing switch. So I like having that speed out though. I think that's going to be helpful. Verticals, And then I think you got to have dig return. And the main reason is just because there's no other route on this in this formation that is wildly that powerful to me, just from what I'm seeing. So, and then this RPO is really, really good. And you're not going to call this formation like all the time, because if you think about it, we're going to be running, we're going to be running our main stuff out of bunch and bunch nasty and things like that. And so this is kind of a mix in audible. It's not necessarily like a wholesale thing. We also can audible into our bunch spread, and we can run our outside zone, which is really hard to defend. Like, this is a must-have play. And then we can also audible. I really like this though, how this shaped up. I mean, this is such a good bubble screen. I mean, such a good bubble screen here. It allows us to do something the game keeps trying to take out. So anyway, I really like that. I like having dig return there. I could maybe see you wanting to have that crosser to the inside guy, but I don't think it's that big of a difference maker. I think the main thing is this verticals play is amazing. The other thing I forgot to mention is you should be able to motion the running back. Can I motion him out? No, I can't. That's unfortunate. Okay, but you can motion the running back out wide here, which allows you to do stuff like this, and it makes this this is a very good combination, like very, very good. This will literally win you a bunch of money in games. I mean, that combination right there is so simple, but so good. The other thing I forgot to mention is the only thing we want to kind of maybe add is, it's not that big of a deal, but adding some type of setup that's going to be really good if they try to hard flat on the right side. So one thing I would do would be something very basic like this. Very simple setup here, but what it does is if they curl flat, then your running back or your in route are going to be wide open for easy yardage. And then if they hard flat, which most people do, then what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to hit this corner route to your tight end, or you're going to be able to hit your post. But watch the swing pulls the flats down, and this is very throwable against cover 4 or cover 3. Effectively, and like I said, if they run cover 2, but I mean, we're also in spacing switch stock, so the likelihood that they're going to try to cloud on that side is pretty low. I really think it's going to be more work on this other side here. Another little setup that you could do out of this that I think is pretty good is you could do you could really just do it like this. And then what I would even do is just a little basic running back post with this little flat here. What this does is the user is going to, if they're kind of, let's say they start doing something like this against this, and they kind of put this user over here, he's now going to be in a lot of conflict. And I want you to watch this running back route. This running back route kind of gets into a really nice spot. You could throw it right there, but what you could also do is, let's say it's man coverage or something. What you can also do with this running back route is you can wait on him to cut to the middle of the field. So post, and if you want to, you can stem him down. It'll cut faster. It's a pretty nice little horizontal combination. Just stretch the field, really attacks the underneath weaknesses of defenses. And you see that running back post gets in a nice little spot. The other thing you could do with that spacing switch, now that I think about it, is you could take this player right here and put him on a little underneath drag, put a little post route right there, and put a flat like that. Now you'd get a little bit more of a strain underneath, and then the middle would open up in zone just like that right there. So kind of a triangular play. And then you also have all the really good universal bunch setups, right? Like this is a universal works no matter what they do. This is a universal setup here. Something like this. This is very basic, but it's very effective, right? When you mix everything together, all of a sudden, that's a very high percentage play that you have. You have that play, and then you have another, I'm trying to remember another variation of this. I mean, I think a very nice one would be something like this. I'd probably do a running back post, but you have, something like this. Like this is a pretty good combo. Now we're flooding the left side, and so we're able to attack the defense that way. And then we have our cross concept, which I think is super good, which I forgot to show you out of verticals. So if I really want to flood the tight end side, I'd go to verticals. And what I would do is I would have a swing, I'd have a streak or a slot fade, a drag, and a return. And so I'd go slot fade, really looking for this drag right in this little pocket. It's in a really nice spot. Now you have to shade down, and then the crosser's wide open. Man, this is how you make a mini scheme, right? You find something that you like, you kind of build around it a little bit, and then you go from there. I mean, that's all it really is at the end of the day. I mean, we have a nice little bench pivot here. The only thing I don't like about this play is the positioning of the drag. Like what I think would make the most sense is really kind of back into something like this. Or if we were trying a true bench pivot, this guy would be on a in route. And then this is where I think you could justify a slant here. Like this slant's going to do a really good job of pulling the hooks in. And then you have that little backside zig. So super good. Man, this is it. Like this. I like how this shapes up. And then you also, by the way, you have all your other stuff from Chiefs. You have all your other stuff that you could do from those bunch formations. Super good. A lot you can do in Chiefs, man. But this is the bunch Y flex, right? Bunch Y flex mini scheme. I think this is pretty runnable for sure. The only thing I would maybe do is take spacing switch out and put, a different play in there. But I do the other thing I forgot to mention, now that I think about it, is this right here. So the spacing switch, part of why I like it so much is this out route. So the out route's really good because if they're a lot of people like to curl flat the bunch side. Well, if they do that, that's just a layup throw, right? And then the other reason that's good is because let's say I do something like this, where I do a little zig here to the inside guy. Look at how open that is, right? Because that out route pulls. So that's another little reason, very, very minor, but this is actually a pretty good way to run spacing to me. Like just a basic little zig, that hook, watch him hold that hook. See how that hook zone held on that route right there? That's why I would say you zig the inside guy and then run it like that. Like that's a super open play. And then also have this little button hook here from the tight end that's kind of sitting in a nice spot. So you see how the hooks are just put in a lot of conflict, and I could have thrown that zig. The other thing you could also do is just call it stock. The stockist of spacing switch will work against pretty much everything. It's just that is a little, like to me, this guy gets into a little bit of an awkward position. Another thing you could do is you could go to, and you probably wouldn't do it out of this, but you could just recreate mesh spot. Now this will be a little bit better than Bunch X Nasty because this guy's a little wider. So if they're hard flatting a lot, now you have the running back wheel as a big time threat to them. So you see what I'm saying? So you're kind of keeping all those good bunch combinations always applicable here, but then you throw that in with an audible to this RPO, or they're maybe not paying attention. They don't see that guy take a step back, and you now have a really, really good RPO that you can kind of build around as well. And this RPO has a, run aspect to it. Of course, we could just let the game hand it off if we don't like the look. We can always just, get out of jail free with running the ball. But yeah, this is pretty much it, man. It's a really good playbook. Really good playbook in Chiefs. I like this little Texas route. Texas route's really good against man. Like this play right here is going to be money against man coverage. Like it will just be really, really good. And then you also have this Texas that does a good job of getting underneath everything if they're not shading down. So that's it, boys. Again, if you want to support me, you want to get the ebook, it's in our school site. Link will be in the description below. I might add some gameplay to this. I might not. Let me know what you would like to see in the comments. I want to do more videos like this where I actually just create something from scratch and just kind of talk about what I'm learning and learn with you guys. So let me know what you think of the content. Not new, but old. The new old way to do it. Have a little cup of coffee in the morning, talk some Madden, shoot the breeze with your boys. Thanks for watching. Our boys in game. I figured I would go through and just kind of highlight this little mini scheme. I also wanted to kind of do something fun on defense today. So I'm going to put my pass protection to base here. And I just wanted to kind of walk you through what I'm doing. I thought it'd be fun to run some big nickel over G. I'll tell you, whenever I'm kind of wanting to have, I don't know, just fun with Madden, play real. I always love to go back to B-Nog. I love B-Nog. I love match coverage. I don't think match coverage is the perfect coverage ever, but I think it's kind of fun, and we're gonna try to run some of it and explain, kind of run it, or kind of like how to use it. So what you want to do is 45 over G. You want to go to the slot CB package, very important. And then we're gonna put this on conservative, aggressive, conservative, conservative, and then we're gonna go close and pinch there. I'm gonna pause right there. That's gonna give me a couple of additional seconds to check my substitutions here. So I want to make sure that my best pass rushers are at the very least on the interior D line. And then I've got Edmonds, Brisker, and then I want to make sure I got Deion Sanders up top. I'm going to have to take a timeout, unfortunately. So let's see here. So I got Deion here. I got T.O. I got Bishop, and I got Johnson out there. And then I want to make sure that Savage, the Savage brother, we put him there. All right, we're good to go. So what I want to do is I want to start out just with a very basic cover 4. And the way that I like to run this defense is I like to spread D-line, slant inside, and then I'll typically user the 3-rec. But what's nice about this is we can actually switch stick. That's the only thing about this is the run. I got to think exactly how I want to defend the run here. I'm going to put a couple of calls in here. I'm also going to put the shell on cover 4. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put cover 4 quarters and cover 4 palms in here in the audibles. And the reason for that is because I want to be able to sometimes, I actually do have a fun blitz out of this that's pretty good. So I want to be able to get access to that as well. And very nice. Okay. So the whole thing with match coverage, match is essentially, I do like the way that my man, I think his name is Manu over at the Madden Academy. I kind of like his phrasing for it. Essentially, match coverage is to a degree. It's kind of just delayed man-to-man coverage. So what I'm going to do here, 3rd and 9 pass commit. So, I kind of got to watch the tight end. That's kind of my main assignment within this 3-rec hook. That means I'm relating to the 3rd receiver. If he goes vertical, that's going to mean that I want to, kind of user this. And he's going to throw right at my guy. And he's going to catch it. And oh my gosh, we cannot tackle. That is one thing that that's kind of one thing that's really important in defense is being able to make tackles. So unfortunately for me, we decided we can't tackle today. That's great. All right. Love to be able to tackle. But what's nice about this is I can every now and then mix in this LB blitz. It'll have that cover 4 shell to it. And then you'll actually have, what appears to be cover 4 shell, but it goes pressure. Looks like this guy's about as good as kicking field goals as I am in this game. All right, so what I said, I'm going to show you the bunch Y flex. I'll show you the bunch Y flex today out of Chiefs. I think this is a pretty good bunch, all things considered. So I like how it's shaped up. Now I will say it's designed to actually just be a mini scheme that I sometimes go to. But I'm going to actually show it in this as like the main offense. So you can kind of get a feel for how it works. Do my subs here. Wherever Diggs is, Kincaid. And make sure Gabe Davis is in the slot. I'm going to flip this right here. And we should be able to get right into the RPO. This RPO is super good. It's very, very good against any kind of man coverage, double mug, things like that. But we'll see what he ultimately decides to come out in. He is setting up something. He's setting up something, man. You know he is. All right, just going to put the flat out here. 4, 3, 2. Snap the ball. Snap the ball. That drives me nuts, man. Guys, I seriously want to know what you think of this style of content. I really loved creating this video. So I would love to create more of these for you guys. If you like the style where I just kind of go through, create a little mini scheme, and just kind of take you through the process of what I'm actually, thinking when I'm doing it, and then I put it in a game mode and kind of show it to you. I'd love to make more of those for you, but if you don't like them, we'll do something different. But here we go. So I'm going to put that flat out there, and as you can see, He out leverages the flat defender. We're able to get out there for 4 yards. 4 yards in a cloud of dust. Now, what I would normally do, as I said, is we could basically mix in. This would be just a mix in offense. So we could be running our standard bunch nasty stuff, which is just super good. But I want to get into kind of some of these plays. I actually really like how this offense shaped up. One of the things that I want to do here is, just a simple flood combination. I love this play. I'm actually going to do a little swing route. But this crosser's super good. I got this little running back route. And then I got this nice little drag route. Really easy reads. Able to just kind of make the game easy for ourselves there. Does look like he's going to be running some match himself. So this formation will do a pretty good job against different types of match coverage, especially if we utilize this little flat drag concept. Really, really good for attacking any kind of match coverage. Just take our layup throw, a little flat. It's going to be 2nd down and 6. And he's kind of running some similar things that I'm doing here. Go to verticals again. What's nice about this verticals play too is there's a lot of ways to run it. So another way that I like to run this verticals play is streak this guy flat. So you essentially have a high-low between the crosser, and then you have the wheels on the outside here. And I have a touchdown if I could actually throw it. I think I'm going to sadly overthrow him. Yep, that's unfortunate. No, I caught it. Awesome. Okay. I thought I threw the ball out of bounds. Is he already going to get out of there on that one? That's it. He doesn't want any more. I think he thought I was out. I think he thinks I was out of bounds as well. But we were in bounds. We got it done, boys. We're going to take it. All right, I'm going to have some fun on defense. I want to do a series on the channel. I don't know how I want to do it, but I want to deep dive match coverage. I just don't know how I would really realistically do it. Match coverage is kind of, like I said, it might not be the best defense in Madden, but it's pretty fun to run. It's pretty fun to run. I think a defense that I want to do, I want to cover nickel 2-4. Nickel 2-4 is a little better than over G in some regards, but then over G is better in other regards. So I don't know for sure. I'll show you what I mean. So like if I want to blitz out of this, all I have to do, come out an LB blitz. It looks just like this. I'm going to shift this way. And then we can just, basically zone this guy out. You see how fast that blitz comes in. That blitz is pretty good. It's actually, I think, better than double mug. Not necessarily better, but it's better in a different way. It's a good blitz. I don't know what I want to do, though, around it. I'm going to try to just cover 4 palms here. These super blitz angles at the middle are not bad either. You can also do some stunts in this defense, but the stunts are kind of meh. They're okay. The stunt that I like to do, actually, that I need to be doing is the Tom stunt. The Tom stunt's pretty good. Tom stunt is definitely pretty good. I'll probably do that this next play. Show you a clip of that. You don't also have to just run match coverage. You can run all your standard, if you want a standard cover 4, you can run your standard coverages as well if you wanted to. Let's see here. I think I'm going to run. I just have always loved match quarters, cover 4 palms, anything like that. Trip side and flex, I think you want to run palms against trip side in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do the left Tom stunt. Kind of hover over the center here just like this. And there you go. I wish that was not open. I don't know why match coverage does not take that away. All right, I'm going to try to do left Tom, and I'm going to contain. There we go. Cole Bishop doing what he does. Very nice. So you get Cole Bishop on your squad. The theme team I'm rocking is 50 Bills, 20 Bears. 50 Bills, 20 Bears. So go to this play here. It's another one of my favorite plays. This is one of my absolute, this play is so, I just think this gives you so many good answers against everything. It's a little baby dot here, but we're able to really strain the field. He's not going to guard the flat. We just take our layup throw. Get out there with Dion. 98 speed on this team. What's crazy is, man, he's running a lot of match and everything's open. Literally everything. I think what I'm going to do here, I keep going to the right, but I need to go left here. I have not ran my corner out play. I think I'll run that. Of course, he's running match, so That might not be ideal, but we're going to run it. I'm going to do a little running back post. And good defense. He literally, I think he dropped his entire team back in coverage. The other thing that's cool out of Beanog is you could actually run some send 2 out of Beanog too. You can run off 2 off edge. The thing with Dollar is the send 2 is kind of meh. Like, it's okay, but I feel like the send 2 from like double mug or 4-down lineman sets is a little better. All right, let's see what we're going to run here. We're going to spacing switch again. I was trying to think how I want to run it, though. Honestly, you know what? We'll just call it. Take our speed out to the sideline. I have not really called the RPO much. I should. The RPO is really, really, really good, but I'm going to go to verticals here. And I think what I'm going to do a little running back Texas. This crosser is really good against man coverage. So if he's in man coverage, which it looks like he is, and actually crazy bagged me. And then I got a really bad inaccurate from Josh Allen there. Not a fan of that. I think that's an under pressure inaccurate that I just got. Not a fan of that. Not at all. And somehow we find ourselves on a 4th and 3. Now, we do get ball at halftime, so we should be kicking this field goal. But for the content, for the brothers, we'll go forward here. Man, I really just like this call again. I'm trying to think what I want to do. I did not like how... All right, we'll do a little zig here. There we go, a little zig. And the crosser. Very nice. And then we'll try to hit this RPO for a touchdown. Let's see if we're able to... See if the stars align and allow us to here. Flat. Also have this little speed out. So I'm going to look right. There it is. And that's that RPO, man. That RPO is super, super, super good, in my opinion, just because it really does put the defense in a tough spot. Another one of my favorite red zone plays for this. I didn't go over red zone plays when we were talking about it, but this is kind of one of my favorites. Little dig return. I got the return route. I got the flat. And then I also have this crosser return route combination. Super hard to guard down there in the short yardage. And we're able to get a 2-point conversion, give us a 2-possession lead, and now the boys are going to go eat. The Tom stunt was kind of didn't really move the needle that much for me. All right, so could also do a nickel wide. Should probably look at a nickel wide. Okay, 4-2-5 over G, and he's in 5 wide. Whenever I see somebody in 5 wide, I'm going to go just cover 3 here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to deep half, and I'm going to man this guy up. Kind of like user this right side. Boom. Boom. All right, that was not a great idea. I need to... If he goes that again, I need to come out of this LB blitz, actually. All right, bunch open. Here we go. This should be pretty decent-ish. I'm going to send 4. Should get pressure. He blocked a running back. I have that deep curl flat over there. Really nice defense. Really, really nice. That's what's nice about this defense is you can put a little pressure on him as well with this LB blitz. So he's going to go back to that 5 wide. So what I'm going to do... Gotta watch that. There we go. There's that good pressure. I'm going to call timeout right here just in case he makes a mistake down the stretch here. What I like to do in these situations, I think one of the safest coverages in the game is cover 2. And then all we're going to do is we're going to deep third. We're going to deep third this this mid read. I think I'm going to do what's a right. Darn it, I didn't get my adjustment off. But these hook curls are really good. That MILF kind of keep everything in front. Now he's going to call timeout right there, which puts him on a 4th down. He has to kind of call something here. Could go to match coverage, but I don't want to risk any, 1-play touchdown bugs. So what I'll probably end up doing here is just kind of repeating that coverage Because I mean, he still needs 20 yards, so I'm gonna man this guy up. Man up this receiver. Pass commit. You'll get way better sheds if you pass commit. Kind of looking for that crosser. Not there. And there you go. Boom. So what's nice about that decision there is, like I said, it puts him in a position where he could make a mistake. He did make a mistake. So now what we're able to do is we should be able to just score here. He's actually going to go ahead and get out of this one. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you want to get the full Chiefs ebook, it's in our school community, and that'll be linked in the description.